Hi, Matthew. How are you today?
I'm okay.
You okay? All
Yeah.
right. Well, I see it's your first time to therapy, so welcome. I'm really glad that you could come in today. And we're going to do an intake interview, and it's basically so I can get to know you a little better. And we're going to ask you a series of questions. Some of them might seem a little formal in nature, while others might bring up emotions that might be difficult. If at any time you feel like you don't want to answer that question, it makes you feel uncomfortable, please let me know and we will skip right over it. Not a big deal at all. Does that work?
Sounds good to me.
Okay, excellent. And last thing before we start, I just want to let you know that anything you say in this room is confidential. You'll never leave here. However, the one exception to that is if I feel like you are in danger to yourself physically or maybe to others, and then I do have to report it. So I just want you to be aware of that. Is that all right?
That makes sense.
Okay. All right. So, how old are you?
I am 39.
39. Okay. And are you married?
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Okay. What do you do for work?
IT, software design, stuff
Okay.
like that.
Okay. Nice. And then what's your sexual orientation, your gender?
Straight male.
Straight male. Okay. So, what brought you in here today?
Well, I've been feeling depressed for a while and thought I should probably come and get some stuff figured out
Yeah.
before it gets worse.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm glad you did. Um, what would you say your main cause for why you came, like your motivation, what really motivated you, the biggest thing that's bothering you?
Well, I've been feeling really sad and mad, but mainly at myself.
Okay.
It just seems to be trickling down to all aspects of my life.
Okay. So your mood is really just starting to affect everything.
And I don't know, I can't seem to shake it.
Okay. Well, how often do you feel this way?
Every day.
Every day. So every day, like all through the day and all through the night, you're feeling low.
Yep.
Okay.
All day, every day.
It's got to be a lot. Okay. How long have you been having these feelings?
For about a year.
About a year.
It started when I lost my daughter.
Okay.
You know, it was my fault. I was driving the car. I hate myself for what I did. It feels like life will never be the same because of it.
Yeah, that's a lot. It's a tremendous loss that had been really hard to deal with, and it seems like you're having a lot of shame and guilt and sadness over that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Um, you mentioned that it's affecting every area of your life. What areas of life are you referring to?
I mean, everything, work, friends, family. Family will call. Friends want to go out. I just don't. I honestly just feel like it's too much work
Okay.
to try to pretend to be happy when I know deep down I'm not.
Right.
And I don't want to drag them down with me. I know I'm a bummer to be around, and just kind of feel like a waste of space. And it seems silly that it's still affecting me when pretty much everyone else seems to have gotten over it but me.
Okay. Yeah, that's a lot. Seems like a lot of your life is just kind of really affected by this. When you say everyone has gotten over it, who are you referring to?
In particular, my ex,
Okay.
she left me about 6 months ago.
Wow.
She said that she just couldn't spend one more day with me. She couldn't handle a husband who lies around in bed all day, just feeling sad and depressed.
Yeah, it had to been another enormous loss for you. Can't imagine, what you're going through. That has to be really challenging, and you're probably feeling very alone in this. There's not a lot of support, I'm gathering, from what's going on. Do you have any other support in your life? Any family or?
Well, I have a sister. She lives close, and she tries
Okay.
to call, but I avoid talking to her. I don't know. I don't want to bother her with my problems. It's not her
Okay.
responsibility. It's better that I just keep my distance.
There's some unworthiness feeling, so you're feeling really, really isolated from family. And do you have
Yeah,
any
I'm feeling.
friends?
No. Like I
Okay.
said before, I tend to keep to myself, and I feel like if I don't have anyone close to me, then there's no possibility of losing anyone close to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. It's really challenging. Um, what about work? Do you have any relationships there, or how is work going?
Work has been a bit of a nightmare. I can't seem to focus. I'm constantly feeling exhausted, and I used to boast being top of my field,
Mm-hmm.
but now gotta be days away from being fired.
Wow, that's a lot of pressure you must be feeling from work.
Yeah.
And you're saying you're being exhausted at work. What's causing the exhaustion? Where's that coming from?
Mainly it's because I can't sleep. I
Okay.
lay awake all night just staring at the ceiling, just thinking. And then when I finally do, get a little bit of rest, it's basically daytime, and I'm so
Hmm.
exhausted that I just want to sleep all day.
Yeah, yeah. Not sleeping is really challenging, especially when you have work pressures. I can see that.
Yeah.
Um, you say that you're like reminiscing on the past. What about that day are you thinking about?
Um, just I don't know, looking at it from all angles, mainly just beating myself up about, thinking about all the things I could have done differently. So that thought process keeps me up a lot.
Keeps you up a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that would be challenging. So I know you're having a hard time falling asleep. What about like staying asleep? So once you fall asleep, can you stay asleep or are you
No, I'm up.
no?
I'm up every few hours.
Okay, yeah. So you're not getting a lot of sleep. That's got to
Mm-mm.
be hard. Um, do you feel there's a certain time of day where your mood is worse compared to other times of the day?
I mean, I feel pretty low most times in the day. Not
Okay.
really difference, but morning is always the hardest.
Okay.
I just know I have an entire day ahead of me. That's daunting.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. Do you remember feeling any, anger or depression or any feelings of sadness before your daughter's death? Or
Not to this degree,
hmm
but I was feeling really depressed when my parents died. But like I said,
okay,
not like this. I got over it pretty quickly.
okay. When did your parents die?
5 years ago.
5 years ago. Okay, so it was not recent, but not too long ago. Pretty
Yeah.
recent. Okay, and how did they die?
Ironically, it was a car crash. I guess my family's cursed, and I'm always wondering why I'm the one that gets spared throughout all this.
Wow, it's a lot of loss in your life. A lot of hard stuff to deal with. Were you guys close?
Yeah, I mean, we were close. I miss him a lot.
Yeah,
I don't know. It just kind of feels like I'm destined to lose the people that I love the most.
yeah, yeah. Um, with your really sad mood and all this tragedy and loss that you've really had to face, have you ever thought about taking your own life? Are you having thoughts of self-harm or
No,
no?
I
Okay.
can't say that I've ever thought that way. At least,
Okay.
well, not yet, but right
Not
now, no.
yet.
Yeah.
Okay, but you feel like your mood is going in that direction or
Uh, it's hard to be sad all day.
right, absolutely, yeah.
It's sometimes it feels like it would be easier not to feel. You know what I mean?
Right,
Yeah.
right. No, I understand. Are there any activities in your life that you are finding enjoyment out of? Any kind of joy or happiness that you can get?
Not really. Not
No.
like I used to. I mean, I used to love playing baseball. I was on a men's
Okay.
team. I loved to cook, but not anymore. Just
Not anymore.
passion's gone, I guess.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, what about like your strengths? Do you feel like there's anything that you do really well?
Not right now. I used to be really athletic, but I haven't exercised or done anything like that in a while. So no, I can't. I
No,
can't think of
so
any right now.
okay. So you're really just not feeling good about yourself and your capabilities and what you have to give. Okay. would your athletic nature want to be something that you'd want to like cultivate back into your life, or is that something you want to work on goal wise?
Yeah, I mean, there's a part of me that misses it, but it's something I would be open to getting back into again.
Okay, all right, well that's good. Um, Now I know you've been through so much. I can imagine. What motivates you to kind of keep going every day? How do you find the strength to, really keep pushing on and despite feeling, so alone and
I don't have a good answer for that. It's
okay.
not. I'm not really sure what pushes me from day to day.
Okay. So what are you hoping to get out of therapy?
I hope to feel, I guess, happier,
Yeah.
better sleep, find love and joy in the things that I used to in life.
Yeah.
Just get back to feeling more like myself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I think that's great. And if you were to have everything start to feel better, what would your life look like? What would that picture look like?
I'd, once again be able to, enjoy my work,
Okay.
go out with friends, maybe take up some of my old hobbies and, I don't know, even, maybe look to getting a new girlfriend.
Okay. So yeah, really cultivating more relationships in your life and
Yeah.
bring those interests and joys back. Those
Yeah.
all sound like great goals that we hopefully can work on in our future sessions together. Is there anything that you want to ask me? Another, we're at the end of our time here.
I can't think of any. Maybe for next session, but not
Okay.
right now.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming in and sharing everything, and we'll be in touch.
Thank you.
Thank you. Matthew arrived 15 minutes late. He seemed pretty well kept. He did have some shaving areas he didn't, were unkept. He was wearing baggy, loose clothes. He was 39. He looked about 39. He did have dark circles underneath his eyes, but he did mention he wasn't sleeping, so that makes sense. His behavior was yawned a little bit. He looked tired and had a little bit of an apathetic tone when he was speaking, a little delayed, and not much eye contact. He was really avoiding looking at me, especially during certain questions. His speech was slow, and there was some volume and spots that would kind of drift off. His effect was definitely sad. There was definitely a depressed energy to him. And that makes sense. He's been depressed for about 12 months, he said. He was avoidant on certain topics. They took more kind of pushing follow-up questions to get answers out of. His thought content was a little withdrawn, and his process was clear and followed a tangible line. It was coherent, and his thoughts seemed to be congruent with his emotional trauma. He had no hallucinations, and his cognitive abilities seemed high. The big picture for Matthew is he's recently divorced. He lost his daughter a year ago, and he feels really responsible for that. The enormous amount of guilt has really impacted his emotional life, and his marriage appears to have ended as a result of that, which is leaving him more socially isolated. This has estranged him from his family and friends, because he feels like a burden. There's a lot of like self-shame going on. And the death of his daughter might have brought up some emotions from his parents' death that died in a similar manner. His mood is affecting his ability to enjoy activities. And we'll monitor his thoughts of suicide, but this time he said he wasn't. He appears to have a relationship with his sister that could be cultivated as a good support network for him. And diagnostically, I would definitely say there's some depression with PTSD, his depressed mood, and his loss of interest in his activities. He's fatigued, he has a lack of energy, he can't focus very well at work, and his feelings of worthlessness and shame that have been happening for about 12 months. PTSD symptoms follow from that first-hand experience of trauma with his daughter. and then reliving it nightly and not being allowing him to sleep. He's also avoidant. He's not really engaging in his close relationships with people. So the combination of these two things together definitely with the diagnosis.